I woke up this morning and I wanted to put out a very transformative lesson for all of you. I have been working closely with some of my one-on-one clients, and one word that has really helped them create a massive breakthrough, actually it's two words, it's letting go. And I want to show you how to create a life of freedom for yourself. Now, when you think of freedom, what comes on across your mind? See, we live in a world where there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals creating massive freedom. And the only thing, if you go talk to any of those individuals, and I can tell you this, when I created a life of freedom, it came down to one truth. The only thing that moves the needle is going to be you. And I want you to understand that you have the power to create a life of freedom. I'm forever talking about wealth, but to me, wealth is not about money. It's about freedom of choice. And the biggest thing that people want is to be able to do what they want, when they want, with whomever they want, however they want, as often as they want. So today, my intention is to teach you and show you how to create a massive breakthrough. So the first question we have to ask ourselves is, are you ready to have a transformative, massive breakthrough? I want you to hear those words, transformative, massive. These are really emotional words that with the right intent will just imprint your subconscious mind. So everything I do, if you came and worked with me for a week and you were a fly on the wall, every hour I set an absolute, clear, definite intent of what I'm creating that hour. And I just let it go. Now I'm going to teach you how to let go today. My guess is if you're stuck and you're struggling, it's because you're holding on, you're attached. And I'm going to show you how to release that. Now, I always am talking about, and maybe this is the first time you're watching me, but there's two camps of people. There's the camp that wants information. They just want to keep gathering more and more information. And there's the camp that really create the freedom. Those are the people who want transformation. They want real direction, real coaching. Information is not power. It's the implementation that creates the power. And now, my company, Voss Coaching Co., our mission, and I hope this resonates with you because this is what I will help you do when you come work closely with me. But we help inspirationally dissatisfied achievers 10x their results, break free from limitations, simplify their lives, and elevate their mindset so they can stop grinding and start living a life of true freedom and fulfillment. Now, just because you may be sitting there and say, Arash, I'm inspirationally dissatisfied, that does not mean you're not making things happen. That does not mean you're less than. It means that inside of you, there's a future so much bigger than what your present is. And I want to unleash that for you. Now, everything always starts with our goal, but people are measuring their success or failure very inaccurately. The biggest mistake people make is they set a goal, and every day they're measuring it from the goal. You want to measure from where you started and see the progress continually up-leveling you. The goal is how you make decisions. The goal defines your actions, and the goal is our best accountability partner. So we want to really understand that when we're creating this breakthrough. And I want you to sit there for a moment and just let your mind go. I want you to imagine, take away your current circumstances, just wipe them away. And I want you to think, if I was living a life of freedom, what would that do for me? What would that allow me to experience? How would I be behaving? What would I have changed? Because we've got to really start attacking the vision properly. We've got to build a humongous vision for ourselves. Now, that freedom that I'm talking about, it's going to demand personal transformation. It is not going to be in your comfort zone. It is going to demand more courage. Freedom is not about creating a courage-free life. Freedom is the manifestation of up-leveling our courage every single day. And all you have to do is get out of your comfort zone. Now, I say that easily, but when you understand this lesson where everything just is, then you're not going to put a judgment on it. And I'll get into that deeper throughout this lesson. But we cannot create freedom if we do not know what we really want. Now, I want to ask you this. Right now, I just want you to follow my voice. If I said, what do you really want more than anything else in the world? Is something coming on your mind? Do you know that? Now, I've studied this 1,000 different ways. And when somebody does not have a clear picture of what they want, it comes down to one reason. They don't think they can achieve it. And I want you to dream, but I want your want to be authentic. When it's an authentic want, you don't have to justify it to anybody. Now, if I said, what do you really want? And you have no justification, that is your real want. Every time we justify our want, well, this will help me get out of debt. That's not a want, that's a need. I want it to be authentic, something that lights you on fire, something that gives you so much energy and juice, because that is your real want. So we have to know, first off, what do we really want? Now, if we don't know what we want, we have to work on that. You've got to get out a piece of paper and you've got to write out exactly how you want to live by the end of December. I want you to write it out because I want you to create a significant quantum leap between now, when I'm recording this in August, to December 31st. Imagine if you created that quantum leap, what that would do for you. But imagine what you built yourself to. Like, one of my biggest philosophies is, I want to make my future so much greater than my present. That is such a motivator for me. Now, you can, if that resonates with you, it's done wonders for me, borrow it, take it as your own. And most people are not making it happen, not because they're not capable, not because they can't make it happen. It's because they don't have a clear, authentic want, so they don't surrender to building a future self because there's no reason to. When we have an authentic want, where we want something more than anything else in the world, it just shoots us up. Now, I want you to understand, we've got to make your future your magnificent obsession. I want you from today on to imagine it was impossible for you not to achieve it. And when you start activating a magnificent obsession, here's what happens. You activate your cognitive map. You have an internal GPS that starts working for you. Our brain is here to work for us. And our brain always works on the ideas that we constantly put all our attention. Now, when we make this an obsession, think about when you've been obsessed about anything. You see it everywhere. I want your obsession to be on what you want, how you want to live, and really truly live a life of freedom. Now, how do you make it an obsession? You keep putting attention on it over and over and over again. Now, if you've been following me, and if you haven't, go watch my previous YouTube videos. But the best way to make your goal an obsession is you want to start auto-suggesting it. Even if you don't believe it, keep saying it to yourself over and over and over again. Auto-suggestion is a suggestion from yourself to yourself. And I want you all day long experiencing what you would experience had you already achieved that. Now, this is going to take discipline, but I want to tell you the truth about discipline. You're already disciplined. You may just be disciplined in the wrong things right now. Make a decision that today, as you're listening to my voice, that you're letting that other person out that's dying to come out. And you're going to turn your goal into a love story. Whenever you are in love with anything, it's always on your mind. It is always on your mind. You don't have to force yourself. It is naturally on your mind. And in order to achieve a life of freedom, we have to turn our goal into a love story. Now, none of this works without an irrevocable, committed decision. When you make a commitment, that means this is what you're doing no matter what. This is the price you have to pay. Now, there's a price for freedom. Freedom isn't free. Everybody walking this planet has access to it. However, you have to be willing to pay the price. That price is commitment. And when I say commitment, that isn't 90% in, it's not 96% in, it's 100% in. Now, when you're 100% in, that doesn't mean you're not going to fail your way forward. You've got to be willing to lose in order to win. You know, I think back in my life and my journey over the last 17 years of teaching this and really changing my life from being in struggle, being in a ton of debt, to creating a life of freedom. It came down to commitment. When I committed at the highest level, everything changed. Everything changed. And I want you to get to the point that your emotions towards losing and winning are the exact same. It just is. Why? Because your losses are going to create your greatest wins. And if you're not willing to lose, there's no chance for you to create a life of freedom. Now, the great part of commitment, what it does is, what creates commitment? Courage. I don't have a guarantee that this is going to happen, but I have the guts to bet on myself, because until you bet on yourself, until I bet on myself, you cannot unleash the unlimited potential that's inside of you. Like, I want you to think of people you admire, whether it's Steve Jobs, whether it's an athlete, whether it's an entrepreneur, whoever it is you admire that's really making things happen. If you study any of them, the one common denominator is they all bet on themselves when they doubted themselves. Now, the only thing I want you to doubt are your doubts, because the world has shown us that if one person can do a thing, you can too. If one person can create a life of freedom, anybody can. But in order to do that, we have to set a significant intent. And what does intention mean? It's freedom of thought. It's frequency of thought. And an intention, a weak intention, weak result. No intention, you're living based on the law of averages. Strong intention, now you're creating your destiny. And every significant breakthrough that you are going to achieve is the result of a courageous deviation from your old way of thinking. Now, I'm very raw about this, that I cannot get, and you cannot get, to a higher level of living, a higher level of achievement, thinking the same way you've always thought. It's not going to happen. I want you right now to make a definite decision that you are going to create a massive breakthrough between now and the end of the year. And the key is believing in yourself before you're ready. I remember my mentor told me when I was first starting, and I was struggling. When I tell you I was struggling bad, I mean I was struggling bad. I was insecure. I doubted myself, but I didn't doubt my dream. But he said, you don't need to know how to do this. You don't even need to believe it. You just need to believe that I believe that I can show you how. And that's the same thing I do with all my clients. Now, if you're here just wanting information, you're going to get a ton of value out of this, and I hope you enjoy this and share it with other people that can enjoy it. But I want to create a massive breakthrough for you. And I will tell you, massive breakthroughs is when you see what you want before you're ready. Now, in order to do this, it's going to require you to adopt completely new habits. And it's going to require you to let go of 80% of the way you've always been doing things that no longer serve you. The best in the world are great quitters. You heard me right. They are great quitters. They quit at what does not serve them. And quantum leaps, creating massive breakthroughs, is going to require elimination. It's not about doing 10 action steps a day. If I could get you just to create 3 wins a day, you times that by 5 days a week, that's 15 wins a week. times that by 4.3 weeks in a month, time that by just 90 days, you're gonna have over 160 wins. Imagine what will happen with your results. But I want you to make a list right now. I want you to pause this video and make a list of what you're gonna eliminate that no longer serves you. That means getting rid of your bad habits. That means getting rid of conforming to your environment. That means really understanding that you're gonna go within and create transformation. But I want you right now to pause this and write out what you're willing to eliminate. Now, if you have a ton of things written down, I want you to look at your top 3 that you're gonna eliminate over the next 90 days. I do not need you to eliminate everything at once, but I want you to look at your top 3 most sabotaging behaviors that are stopping you from going from where you are to where you wanna go. And if you do that, we are on the road to a massive breakthrough. Now, a lot of people are looking at themselves very inaccurately. And I want you to remember, just bet on yourself. There's no one else in the world you should bet on than you. And when you bet on you, that's when you're gonna activate your courage. Now, this is gonna take, I always say breakthroughs are about 90 days at a time, a 90-day breakthrough. Now, that's gonna take 90 days of deep, real, raw internal work. That means going and asking yourself critical questions, because our questions drive our behaviors. What's a critical question? Why am I behaving in certain ways? Am I aware of the 3 behaviors that are holding me back? Ask yourself these questions, they're gonna break you through. Now, in order to do this, you must begin to think. And when I say think, thinking is not looking at your circumstances. That's not thinking, that's reacting. Thinking is going back to your authentic want, and everything you do is think, feel, and act from that person. That's true thinking. Now, there are 3 parts of our mind. We have our conscious mind that creates 2 to 4% of our results. We have our subconscious mind, which is our power source that creates 96 to 98% of our results. And we have our body, which we experience the results. So you want to start understanding to let go means you are not attached to anything. I want you to start releasing judgment, good and bad. See, if we judge the good, it's still judgment. And what judgment creates is attachment. And what happens when we're attached to something? Our emotions are dictated by that attachment. So we want to become a master of letting go. Letting go is going to activate your automatic mind, which is your subconscious mind that's creating 96 to 98% of your results. Now, here's the trick. The ego goes to your conscious mind and is constantly in chaos. When you're in chaos, there's no way you're getting what you want into your subjective mind. We want to quiet that chaos. How do we do it? We do it by letting go. See, the biggest problem people have who studied the mind and are not getting results is there's no trust between the conscious and subconscious. Now, I want you to think of somebody that you trust more than anybody else in the world. Now I want you to think of your subconscious mind. Do you have the same trust in your subconscious mind? See, your subconscious mind is what's allowing your heart to beat, your blood to flow. Now, it is such a genius, but most people may have heard about it, but they're not understanding it. We've got to kill the ego off. The ego goes in and tries to get you to compete. The ego goes in and tries to get you to compare yourself. The ego goes in and wants you to be a perfectionist. Once you release judgment, now your mind is quiet. But in order to do that, everything just is. And you don't put an attachment on anything. If you're attached to something, you're only using 2 to 4% of your power, and you're expecting amazing results. I want you to tap into your automatic mind. That is what is going to activate you. So we have to release any form of attachment. What's attachment? Letting your results control you. What's attachment? Fear. then go deeper and say, why am I attached to that? So when we start activating and letting go, your life is going to become literally miracle after miracle after miracle, and you're going to activate the flow state. I want you to think about what I mean by quieting the mind. You know, if you've ever played a sport and let's say you hit a baseball. Now you wouldn't know exactly what angle that baseball was hit, but when you let go, you let your genius take over and hit it. When you're in that flow state, it's because your conscious mind is quiet. There's no judgment. You think, you feel, and you hit it. It's the same thing with success. We've got to get out of our head and into our heart. We've got to allow our heart to take over, and that's where the magic happens. Now, I want you to think about where you are. Like, you know where you are right now. It's very obvious. All of us do. And I want you to think about where you want to go. Now, if I said to you right now, what is your greatest obstacle from taking you from where you are to where you want to go? What would you tell me? Now, most people will tell me their sales results, their income. They will tell me all these circumstances. And here's the challenge with that. You're not clear of the obstacle. You are creating actions around the symptoms. We don't want to attack the symptoms. We want to attack the cause. The cause is never the sales. The cause is, do I have a sales goal? Am I practicing my sales presentation every day? Am I talking to enough people? What is income? Income is based on the value you create for others. So income is an effect. The sales are the effect. Now your goal is going to demand you to get to the cause of what you want. And the only way we're going to do that is by making a definite decision. This is how I'm going to live. This is why I want this goal. I'm not going to justify it to anybody. And I'm going to let go and create my 3 main wins every day. And when you do that, you're going to start activating your cognitive map, because now we have a magnificent obsession. We've made an irrevocable commitment. And now our brain is going to work for us on solutions on how to achieve it. But that is why commitment and turning your goal into a love story is so important. But now you're going to automatically start thinking, feeling, and acting without effort. But in order to do that, we have to let go. I want you waking up every day and say, today, I'm going to let go fully. I am not allowing the outside conditions or circumstances to control me. And I'm making definite decisions with deep intent every day. Deep intent every day. If you look at my results, if you look at your results, those are a manifestation of our deepest intents over the last 6 months, either consciously or unconsciously. Now, I want you to start doing it consciously, because now you're creating your life by design. Now, let's look at this. What is the key to getting anything we want in our life? And I said anything. Your authentic want won't be something that you are not capable of achieving. But I want you to take an honest look at where you are in your life, and you'll see how you got there. It's so clear how you got there. I made this decision, then this decision, this action, this is how I got there. Now, to get to where you want to go, remember, I'm going to remind you again, it starts with a deep commitment. You're going to say, this is where I'm going no matter what. I'm going to keep upgrading my courage. How do I do that? I keep taking action every day, 1% greater. And the moment your belief, now, I want you to go beyond belief, which is knowing. The moment your knowing matches with any state, you fuse with it. The moment you start seeing yourself earning $100,000 or more every month, if that's your goal, going from $100,000 a year to $100 a month, it's very easy to do once you practice the right disciplines and raise your level of awareness through your mindset. This union is going to activate the exact circumstances, conditions, and growth in your environment that's where your cognitive map gets unleashed, and that's where everything is going to start coming to you once you let go. Now, this new state of conscious awareness is going to be how you see the world. Everything is going to, you're going to know that you're changing your paradigm and your programming because you're going to take different actions. Your confidence is starting to get better and better and better. But I want you to make this part of your philosophy. I am willing to lose at my future self than win at my present self. What do I mean by that? That means I'm willing to get out of my comfort zone. I'm willing to feel that uncomfortableness that my goal demands and keep persisting forward, keep pivoting forward, and keep transforming your identity. And as you do this, you're going to start seeing your outside world start shaping itself on that goal in my example of 100,000 a month. That means my mindset is locked in like the person who's earning 100,000. Imagine right now if you were going from 100,000 a year to 100,000 a month, what would be different in your life? Imagine how many people's lives that you would have impacted by your example. Imagine what your vibration just walking into a room would do for people. This success is not about us, it's about the value we create for others. Now, in order to let go, we have to be neutral. I want you to imagine a straight line. Everything just is. It's not positive, it's not negative, we've released judgment, but this is where we have our greatest power to transform because this is where we get to the truth. We say, oh, this action step I did with a little fear, I'm gonna redo it, but I'm gonna let go completely. When you're neutral, now you're thinking without effort. You're allowing your instinct to take over, and our instinct is 10 times more powerful than our intellect. When you're in that flow state where you've completely killed off the ego and you're just about win-win and you're constantly willing to pivot forward, that's when your life is going to become magical. Now, neutral is so valuable because we're controlling the flow of thought energy. We have a negative thought, we say, nope, I'm going to be in control of that, and I'm going to cancel that thought out and reaffirm the exact opposite of that. And when you let your thoughts flow freely, that's when everything is going to connect with your breakthrough, with a life of freedom. And I'm telling you, freedom is a great idea to get in love with. I mean, I want you to go back into what I started this with. Imagine if you're living a life of freedom. It's going to change the game. But when we let go, that's where we create emotional discipline. Emotional discipline, where I'm disciplining my emotions, I'm not allowing my emotions to control me. One of the greatest sabotagers for individuals who are stuck, who are not making it happen, is they're letting their outside results control their identity, control who they are. Your outside has nothing to do with who you are. You are infinite. Your spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. There's not one thing you cannot do that is in your heart. But what happens is they let the outside control them and they say, this is who I am. That's not who you are. That's who your behaviors are. You want to make that distinction. Now, in order to create a massive breakthrough, if you want to 10x your results, you have to 10x your confidence. Confidence comes from letting go. Once again, let's look at our results. That'll tell us our confidence. Now, if you start working on your confidence day in, day out by living your life by design with the right processes, you're going to create massive freedom. Now, I want you to seek intensity coupled with emotional discipline. What is intensity? It means I am so clear with the intention of what I want. It does not mean force. Forcing is attachment, letting go. I want you to let it go. When you think about a time you let go completely, everything happens so effortlessly in your life. Now, when you have the confidence, you have won before you started, that I know this is what I'm doing. I always use this analogy. If you and I were going on a 5-mile run, we wouldn't stop at 1 mile and turn around. If we committed to each other we were going to run 5 miles or walk 5 miles, we would go to our destination. Yet people have a goal, but they're not committed to it. That's why they start, stop, start, stop. But when you use it like if we were going on a 5-mile run or walk, we wouldn't stop until we got there. That's how I want you to be with your goal. In confidence, is about definiteness. I know that I know that I know. There's that word knowing again. It's beyond belief. I know that I'm going to accomplish this. Even when you lack certainty, you keep taking the action, and every time you take an action, you're transforming your identity, and that's called letting go in action. Now, I want you to look at anybody who's free. Watch how they live. They're not afraid. They may have doubts, but they keep going forward. Every action is going to wipe out the fear. But confidence is about detachment. It's about surrender. It's about letting go. Now, you're going to hear me say letting go. If you come work with me, I show you exact processes of exactly what to do and how to do it. But confidence is about the choices you make. Everybody has genius. Everybody has potential. That's not enough. It's the choices we make that defines us. Nothing is going to define you more than the choices you make. And the defining choices is what's called hard work. But in the beginning, it's hard, and at the end, it's absolutely magical. Now, behaving your way into a new identity is what unleashes massive quantum leaps. That means I'm going to take this action even if I fall on my face. But you just taking that extra action is going to change your life. It's going to change your life. What did I say? I want 3 significant wins every day. And I don't want you to believe me. I want you to test it for yourself. You do that for 90 days, you're going to see your life transform. It's literally going to be 160 plus wins. Now, when we talk about confidence, a confident person is a person who's willing to fail. They may not know how to do something, but they know they're going to figure it out. They're constantly willing to fail forward and forward. Now, what are the key characteristics of a confident person? They're definite in what they're doing. They are obsessed with deliberate practice. And deliberate practice is a skill and a belief that I do not have as a part of my identity that is crucial to have to achieve my goal. And they drill that weakness over and over and over and over again until it's automatized where it'd be harder not to do than to do. Deliberate practice is the difference between the masses, the 95% of the people who just conform, and the top few percent. Deliberate practice is not going back to what you're already excellent at. It's about building that one belief and that one behavior over the next 90 days. You do that over a year, that's 4 new beliefs that are significantly empowering beliefs and 4 new skill sets. You're going to live a life of freedom by design. And confidence is constantly stacking one win after the next, after the next. But no one is confident unless they're hyper intentional. Think about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was the greatest basketball player in the world, yet he was at the gym at 3 a.m. after he had a game that ended at 10 p.m. That's somebody who was already the best in the world and was constantly understanding deliberate practice and intention. Nothing is going to create a greater jump for you than intention. Now, let's get back to our mind. There's 3 parts of our mind. We have a conscious mind, we have a subconscious mind, and we have a body. Now, I want you to listen to this very carefully. I want you to see in your conscious mind right now how you would see yourself already living a life of freedom. You want to make that your magnificent obsession. You see it all day long. You want to feel in your subconscious mind, and you train your subconscious to feel like you're already your future self. And in your body, you are going to empower your central nervous system, and you're releasing and eliminating any toxicity that is infecting it. And then you practice repetition over and over and over again. And as you continually impress seeing, feeling, and acting, your body will be in a completely different vibration, and you're going to see the results come. But here's the trick. We don't let the results control us. There's going to be a period that must pass between all your deliberate practice work, all your mindset, all practicing your processes before you see it physically. Your 5 senses are going to be the last part of you that experience it. Now, I want to end this with a process that I call the freedom process. And I'm going to give you exactly what it is. The freedom process is, number one, our starting point is abundant. We are abundant. Abundance demands us to be bold. So how do we be bold? We get out of our comfort zone. We're creating a bigger and bigger and better future in our mind. We have authentic wants because wants create abundance with no justification. We operate all day long with extreme ownership. We do not blame, we do not complain about anything. And we are not condemning anybody. That's how you transform yourself. You take your power back and you take action with swagger. What do I mean by that? You are acting like the person you want to be. You're acting already like that person with $100,000 a month income, $100,000 a month sales. And that's going to create your emotional freedom. And you think without effort. When you're doing your mindset work, when you're doing your processes, that's when you think. But when you're out in the world, now you're trusting your training and you're following your instinct. And everything you do with complete detachment. You are let go. Your conscious mind is so quiet and you are hyper intentional every hour. Now you may think, oh gosh, he's being obsessive every hour. I will tell you, that's what changed my life. When you get intentional, this is what I'm doing no matter what, and you release being obsessed with the outcome. I promise you, the outcome happens as soon as you let go. And that is about, now, I want you to think about this. When you completely let go, it's about great energy. 10xing our life is about having great energy. That's why it's easier to create quantum leaps than it is to create incremental results. And it's always practicing the power of 5. The power of 5 is every decision you make from your goal. Every discipline is from your goal. Every standard, everything you're saying yes to is your standard. Is that from your goal? But when you make it from your goal, I'm telling you, it's going to become breakthrough after breakthrough for you. And your identity-based behaviors, you think, feel, and act from the person who already achieved this goal. And you have the most amazing positive mental attitude. You look for the good in everything. So what happens? You're going to create world-class freedom. I want you to watch this over and over and over again. I want you to send it to someone, add value to their life. Say, you've got to really watch this. I promise you, I'm really good at what I do, and I don't say that because of me. I had the greatest mentors. I still have the greatest mentors. But in order for me to be able to transfer this effectively, I implement this. I am a great student. And once you become a great student, your life is going to become better and better. Your life becomes more magical when you stop trying to conform to everybody and let go. There's only one of you. Go create an amazing rest of your year. Thank you so much.